I got laid off this morning because the Trump administration cut off all federal funding for childcare. I worked in a behavior treatment and reduction autism center. They had to close one of our branches today and laid off all employees because this administration is awful. Awful. And if you support it, I seriously hope that you reap all the benefits of this horrible man that's running our country. I hope that you get to feel the way I feel being laid off and losing your job on a Monday morning at 9 a.m. And you don't get to say goodbye to the kids you worked with for 14 months straight. You don't get to say goodbye to your coworkers. You're just done.
Aw, you're actually dealing with market conditions, and because there's so much fraud. So we're not going to hold accountable Somali fraud. We're not going to hold accountable Minnesota legislators. We're not going to hold the governor accountable. We're not going to hold any of those people accountable. We're going to hold Trump accountable for protecting American taxpayer dollars, which I am very confused because I never understood why we as taxpayers have to pay for daycare for a bunch of people that's choosing to have children on their own free will, especially when it comes to illegals and illegal migrants inside of the United States of America. I don't believe that people that migrate over to the United States of America should get any social services whatsoever. I don't believe that my taxpayer dollars, which I appreciate Trump for protecting our taxpayer dollars, especially since we have a $37 trillion budget deficit, and in multiple different states and multiple cities across the United States of America can't manage their resources effectively, including California, Minnesota, and so on and so forth. But I guess my point that I'm making is that I think that individual private industry should be the ones that determine whether or not an industry is sufficient or a business can sustain itself. It should not be based off of the federal government. The federal government, in my opinion, should not be funding childcare in any capacity. I don't understand that. So when it comes to you and your skill set and your job and whether or not you can say goodbye, people get laid off every day, B. From the plant, they don't get a chance to say goodbye to their coworkers, school systems, police officers, firefighters, people that are essential to the United States of America functioning and cities functioning. And so while she's wishing that back on us, we're going to wish that back on her times 10 because we don't like evil spirits wishing that on people. You know what I'm saying? These people going to have to get off of their high horse and feeling like they're entitled to anything, and they're going to have to start standing in their own 2 feet. Like, it's that simple.
You have nothing lined up, no jobs, nothing.
Aw.
So.
I just got laid off. I'm like in shock right now. I was showering and I joined a global PTUD, all hands like 5 minutes late, and I get slacks from my entire team. Are we getting laid off? And then it's the CEO explaining to me about.
Folks, we have some major news out of Los Angeles, but what I'm about to show you isn't just happening here in Southern California, it's happening all across the country. Students are walking out of their classrooms. They're doing school walkouts en masse to protest ICE, rampaging through our communities. This is a clip from Monrovia, a town in LA County just east of Los Angeles, where hundreds, if not thousands of students left their school in protest. These walkouts are happening, again, all over Southern California, all over the country right now. Take a look at these inspiring students.
Get out the way! Get out the way!
This is big because when the youth knows something is wrong, the rest of the country follows suit, and hopefully more and more students continue to walk out of their classes, protest in unison, because what's happening in this country right now is un-American and it's disgusting.
I have a PSA directly from Minnesota, some contacts there who have told me this and who believe this to be true. There are protests happening in Minnesota, in Minneapolis this weekend, but they are also going to be flying in January 6thers to agitate and to incite violence. So if you are going out to protest this weekend, whether it's Minneapolis or anywhere else, please be peaceful. Don't let agitators incite violence, because that's exactly what they want. President Piggy is already talking about using the Insurrection Act. So we need to be careful We need to be cognizant. We need to be seeing what is happening on the streets. Keep yourself safe. Keep your communities safe. And don't let these January 6thers come into our lives and do the things that we know that they want to do.
On January 7th, 2026, the federal government shot and killed Renee Nicole Good. She was a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, a mother, a writer, a poet, and this all happened during a federal operation in Minneapolis. Almost immediately, federal officials claimed she was a domestic terrorist who tried to run over officers. But video evidence and eyewitness accounts directly contradicts that story. This video shows Renee moving slowly in her vehicle. She was going about 5 miles per hour. She's receiving directions from multiple federal agents. She appears to try to be turning away. There's no visible evidence that any officer was struck or injured. After watching the video, the mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, rejected the federal account outright, calling it bullshit. This matters because this isn't an isolated incident. Just months ago in Chicago, a federal judge found that immigration agents were systematically using excessive force and lying about it, including under oath. One agent even admitted to lying. The court also warned that the government's own evidence contradicted its public claims. And now, in Minnesota, the FBI has removed state investigators from this case, blocking access to evidence, the crime scene, interviews. When the same institution accused of wrongdoing controls the entire investigation, accountability disappears. It's like if an adult were accused of harming a child, and then that same adult got to decide whether what happened was wrong, whether there should be an investigation, or whether there should be any consequences. No one would accept that as fair. Federal agents should not be held to a lower standard than local police. There's also a legal loophole here. If a Minneapolis officer had done this, the family could sue for civil rights violations. But because this was a federal agent, that option might not exist. However, states can close that gap by passing laws that allow residents to hold any government official accountable for constitutional violations. This isn't about immigration policy. It's about if constitutional rights still apply if a federal agent is involved, and whether any of us are safe without real accountability. Renee Nicole Good deserved the truth, and Minnesota deserves an independent investigation.
Breaking news, a federal judge has issued a restraining order against ICE agents, barring them from engaging with peaceful protesters. Now, this is tonight in Minneapolis, where a federal judge has issued a temporary restraining order that bans federal agents from arresting, from using chemical irritants, from retaliating against anybody that's engaging in a peaceful protest. On top of that, he has determined that it is perfectly legal for anyone to follow ICE at a safe distance as long as they are not obstructing agents from doing their job, and has banned agents from arresting anybody that does this. But here's the bigger issue. Why does an order like this in the United States of America even need to be issued? We have become a show me your papers country. One of those third world holes that Donald Trump loves to talk about is what he is creating. And now we have to find out whether or not ICE is even going to follow this. And if they don't, will there be charges brought up? This is going to be a very ugly battle going forward. So